I was flipping through the channels the other day, but there was nothing good on, I had nothing to play. So I went to my computer and realized that there was so much content before my eyes. But there's nothing but Netflix in my heart and on my screen. There's always something good that I still haven't seen. But maybe one day we can try to watch the rest. So Rob and Chappell, give it your best.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing But Netflix is back live this week to talk about Squid Game, the challenge, week 1. We're talking about everybody taking part in, well, I don't know if we're going to talk about everybody, but we're going to talk about everything that happened in week 1 of Squid Game, the challenge, here with a guy who's ready to cut out any shape you want from the cookie. It's Chappell. Chappell, how are you?
Rob, I'm good. I'm pumped. This is the event of the year, right? This is what we've been waiting for.
This is the event of the year. Hold on, Chappell. I have a call. It's for you.
Oh, no, I'm good.
They want to talk to you. They said,
no.
Hey, is Chappell there?
No, she's not here.
They have muffins.
Oh, well, hold on. What kind of muffins?
Chocolate.
Never mind. I'm a blueberry
candy
guy.
corn. I'm sorry, candy corn muffin.
Oh, wait, hold on. You have my attention.
Yes. Oh my God, Chappell, we're here talking about a little bit of a sensation, the Squid Game, the challenge. Really, if I didn't want to watch it, I was like, okay, I have to because my timeline is all Squid Game, the challenge.
Yeah, that's everything everybody is talking about, at least in our neck of the woods. We're a very reality TV centric group. And this seems to have hit all the right notes in the reality TV community. Squid Game, of course, was a massive success. We talked about it here on Nothing But Netflix, one of our first episodes, because how could you not? But immediately we started talking about, is there going to be a Squid Game season 2? What if they don't make a season 2? Is there any world where they leave that money on the table? And they said, not only are we doing a season 2, but we're also going to do a reality show featuring 456 people, and we're going to make this thing a reality. And so Netflix is not leaving any money on the table. They are going to exploit this until the cows come home. And now they're here, and we get to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this. I thought this was really, really fun. I was a little skeptical going in of how much I was going to enjoy it. I kind of feel like, all right, we get it. We saw Squid Game, the movie or the series. You know, I watched Mr. Beast do Squid Game. Like, all right, enough. But I did think that this was really captivating through 5 hours so far.
Yeah, and I think one of the benefits of this show dropping when it did is that we're far enough removed from the original Squid Game content that they could play with the format a little bit, and even the contestants could be surprised by some of the different things that they throw into the show. Whereas I think if this happens a month or two right after the show and we get it aired very quickly, it's kind of like, okay, it's like, all right, we get it. Like, y'all are really leaning into the Squid Game. But I had not watched Squid Game since the first time I've seen it. So for me, I was like, oh, yeah, they did do that. Or, oh, wow, that's another aspect of the show that I wasn't expecting. So it felt new in a way, even though it was a lot of, a spinoff of the old content. So I really think that they hit the nail on the head with how they were supposed to handle these first 5 episodes.
Yeah, I think that the direction that they went has been very fun to sort of start out. Everybody thinks they know what's coming. And then basically like the last bit that we saw has been kind of like a twist on what we saw in the movie or the series of Squid Game. So I have to say, I like it so much. I'm so interested to see where it goes. I'm interested to talk about like what you think this means for reality TV, because big picture, Chappell, I really like watching this. Like, I feel like that this is a good thing for Squid Game, but maybe not so good for Survivor. I think that Squid Game is everything that Survivor would like the new era of Survivor to be. And I do think Survivor should stop and ask themselves, are we sure that that's a good thing?
Well, could you elaborate on that? Because I think I know where you're going as far as, some of the stories we're getting from these people. It seems like everybody has a compelling backstory. We get a lot of that in the new era where you see a player, they're playing Survivor, and then boom, you take them out of that moment and you tell us why you should care about this person a lot. and then we get it. And then next thing you know, we're invested in a character that we might not have seen before. And Squid Game did a really good job of getting you invested in the people that we saw. So are you saying that that's potentially a bad thing for Survivor?
So what I think for Survivor in the new year, and this is we're going to talk about Squid Game. This is a Squid Game podcast, not a Survivor podcast. But I think in the new era of Survivor, I feel like that their premise has been one of dangerous fun, where anything could happen, and that basically we are going to throw as many twists as we want at these contestants to watch them have to react. And if people lose because of some sort of like exploding Jack in the Box, then so be it. That's what it's all about here in the new era. And I feel like that while it is very much a strategic game, that I think that we saw a number of people who were playing the game the hardest, you get detected as doing anything in this game, you immediately become a target. And then that person who was doing something to try to win immediately gets taken out. And so I think we have like backstories that get built up. And so we're sort of invested in these different characters. But I wouldn't be surprised if the winner of Squid Game, the challenge, ends up being somebody who was very much under the radar and somebody who was not making a ton of moves, a la an Erica or a Gabler, and ends up being where anybody who is like really playing to win ultimately loses. And we end up with just somebody like, I don't think we'll have our compelling hero as the winner of Squid Game, the challenge.
Yeah, I think that you have a good point there, especially considering, it's very common knowledge that Big Brother is not fair, right? Survivor kind of touts itself as being the fairer version of those two shows, but at the same time, if you really look at it, with the amount of twists, with the amount of losing your votes and these advantages and stuff like that, it's inequitable in a lot of ways, but it's not a fair game. I think Squid Game has never presented itself as a fair game. This game is supposed to be torture, right? Like, let's just big picture. This is supposed to be torture for poor people. And now you have people who want to come in and play a game where they think they have a viable chance to win. Whereas those people who play Squid Game, they were not given a choice. So these people came in thinking, I have what it takes to win the game, only to find out that there's going to be some challenges that there's nothing you could have done differently. You were going to lose that game regardless, right? We see some new versions of that in some of these challenges. We see that now you can sabotage people and just remove them from the game at your whim. And so, yeah, I think this would behoove you to hide a lot more, to not want to make any moves, to not want to be a big character, because I mean, you could just get voted off in the middle of lunch tomorrow because you pissed off the wrong person, because you didn't want apples, So I agree with you. I think that there is an idea of the chaos being very good TV. But also, if you want all your characters to hide and not make moves and stuff like that, then yeah, keep pushing them in this direction where they feel like the under the radar person is the person who wins, and you won't get any of these big characters. Because I think the ones that we saw, a lot of them are gone now. In the first 5 episodes, the people who we were invested with, only a few of them have made it to episode 6. And so I would be hesitant in a Squid Game season 2 to do this again. So yeah, I think you're right. I think maybe Survivor and Big Brother should look at this and say, okay, I see it, but what is it really pushing the contestants to react to, right? Do they want to be in front? Do they want to be good TV? Or do they want to hide and see if they can just outlast everybody else?
Yeah, because a lot of people are out there trying to make, big moves and exciting TV, and it has not been something that pays off so far in Squid Game, the challenge. I think that's something that they have to watch out for coming up in future seasons, because I think that so far the best strategy has been stay under the radar, do not volunteer for things, do not raise your hand, do not answer the phone, whatever that they are looking for people to do, like, do not be that person.
Yeah, I mean, there is some merit to being that person. It's just that the show doesn't present that as a really good option. So if you are presented with a challenge that could harm someone else, it's like, at least it was you who was presented with the challenge, as opposed to you just being a sitting duck for whatever whim somebody uses to vote you out. But one of the contestants even says it. My mama taught me, don't volunteer for shit because you might get shit. And I think in this show, a lot of the people volunteering for shit, they're going to get shit. And it's not going to be great. And you have to deal with it. You might have to deal with the consequences of those moves. Or in that moment, you might get the Jack in the Box that explodes and says, you have to go. So I think, yeah, this very much incentivizes someone like me to be a little bit more risk averse, where I was like, I don't want to do anything. A lot of the players, we saw them like physically being held back by their allies saying, don't do that. Do not touch the thing. And when you have 456 people saying, don't touch the thing, eventually someone's going to listen and they're just going to stop buying into the challenges. So they'll need a way to spice this up to keep people actively playing the game as opposed to hiding from everything. I mean, we saw that in Survivor too. Now they're adding shot clocks to stuff, like y'all got 30 seconds to decide or y'all out of rice, maybe force somebody to make these hard decisions because, like I said, eventually people are going to want to just hide from those things altogether.
Now, another big part of the story of this first season of Squid Game, The Challenge. Now, I watched about 100 TikToks of that Squid Game, The Challenge while I was having lunch today. And that a lot of it talks about how it wasn't exactly like what you've seen on the show. And there's been a lot of talk about how the players were treated or mistreated in terms of the making the show. And from what I understand, it seems like that this Squid Game, The Challenge, was much more of like a survivalist show than it is being presented. And I'm not sure why they didn't steer into that more in terms of like how hard it was. I guess because maybe that wasn't part of what the original Squid Game was, that there was no talk about like it was like psychological torture, but like the conditions that the people were in the Squid Game, the TV show, weren't like depicted as being like horrible conditions. But based off of what a lot of the people who are making like TikToks and videos are talking about, like it really was very harsh conditions for the players to play this Squid Game in.
Yeah, if you told me I was going to have to play red light, green light for 7 hours, only to potentially die at the end of that one first game and get hypothermia, I'm not signing up for the game.
Now, when you say die, you mean, are you talking about the original Squid Game?
No, well, both. Yeah, well, in the original one, like I said, these people were very, very poor, and they were just trying to change their life, and so they were going to do whatever it took.
They were worse than poor. They were like deeply in debt.
Deeply in debt to the point where it was like they really didn't have any other options. These people on the shows, The Challenge, they had options. And I think that if you present it to them like, hey, not only do you have to win these games, but you also have to survive the elements. We're going to put you in freezing conditions for the longest game of red light, green light that ever existed. That is presented on the show as 5 minutes or something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you get a lot of people playing it. I think that you have to show what the original package was, which is this is the game show that we had on here. It was a Netflix original. You saw all the pieces of it. Can you do those games? The survival element, I think that, yeah, it's very important to know that kind of stuff because then you don't come in thinking, yeah, I got this, only to realize, no, I cannot do this because of things that are outside of my control and outside of what I thought the realm of the game was. In the first challenge, Rob, we see a woman who was in a squat. Yeah. And she's in the squat for roughly 30 seconds. And it's like, I can't do it. I quit. And I know everyone at home is like, what? What is wrong with you? Well, first of all, why would you get in that stance? But then also 30 seconds. But if you put it in perspective that she's freezing, if you're watching all the people running, a lot of them are running with their hands in their pockets, with their sleeves all the way up. They're freezing in there. Yeah, I would have quit too. Sorry, not sorry. I'm not signing up for that. So I think that, yeah, there is a survival element to the show and they hit that from them for a reason.
Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about everything that we saw, and we'll go through sort of like the big picture of like all the different events. And we got a really great chat going on here. And so really a big shout out to everybody who's watching us live. We got a lot of questions from our patron Facebook group and also from Twitter. So we'll do our best to try to answer any of them. But Chappell, do you have any standout favorites from the overall cast that you want to highlight before we get into the beginning?
So my issue here is that when I was taking my notes, I was writing down people's numbers and not their names. So
well, that's okay, because there's a really cool site that Netflix has where we can go ahead and bring up, check this out. So they've got a site that has all of the different people. So if there's anybody that you have their number, we can go ahead and bring up their face and their name.
Well, I don't want to get too far into some of the later episodes, because I know you do want to talk about this kind of chronologically. And there's a few that really stand out even in the first episode, but I want to go ahead and get in front of this right now. 432, great television. I'm sorry. Brighton, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hate him if you want to. I've seen the Instagram comments. People are like, you call yourself a Christian. That man is television. That is cinema. That is what we like in reality TV. We like a person who is going to say what's on their mind. They are going to piss off people, and then it's going to make people want to target them, and that's going to get the suspense of, are they going to get him? Is he going to get anybody else? Yeah, you wouldn't love to play the game with him. But he's 21 years old. You letting a 21-year-old bully you? I'm sorry. You weren't cut out for this show anyway. This is why they were killing people in the first one. So 432, good TV.
Yeah, no, he really was good TV. And I thought that, I don't know how much of like a concerted effort they made to try to like recast the roles from the original Squid Game. But you had the guy in the original, and don't ask me what his name was, but you had the guy in the original Squid Game who was kind of like the bully boss of the whole thing. And he was like an antagonist, and he got his whole crew together. And then you have Brighton here, and I thought that he was great. And I was just completely gagged when he got eliminated.
Yeah. And the craziest thing about Brighton is that he was not winning this game at all, because the part that they underestimate is the social element of this game. Through episode 1, I think of the roughly 100 some odd people who survived red light, green light. Maybe 100 of them are already targeting Brighton. Like the moment they get a chance, they're like, he's gone. He's out of here. To the point where there is a moment where later on we see people get the option to just pick people. Hey, pick 3 people you want to eliminate. The man went out the challenge before that. He was not surviving that. There was no way that you were going to get 5 people to not get up there and say, yeah, him. I want him out. But when you have him on television, you get him for a good time, not a long time. You know he's going to stir the pot. He's going to be fun. And they also gave him some layers. We find out a lot about his backstory, and we find out about, even some of the moments where you think he'd be more nefarious when it comes to doing the like sabotaging people, taking advantages. He's like, I wouldn't do that. That's kind of scummy. I actually wouldn't sabotage somebody. Like, imagine that. All you cutthroat people at home talking about, yeah, take the advantage, sabotage this person. And the guy you hate the most is saying, I don't think that's very honorable. I think you should just play the game. Imagine that. So I thought this was a character with layers, and he was fun to watch.
Yeah, he was really great to have out there, because you can't have like 456 of the same people. You need a variety. He was great. He's Pops from the beginning of this. All right, so we get everybody out there. Red light, green light, and we talked about the conditions. We talked about how it was 7.5 hours. I do think that it's turning into like one of these like fish stories of like every single person.
17 days of red light, green light. Rob.
Yeah. No,
it was 2 degrees out there.
I mean, these TikToks, they keep getting like it was 30 minutes in between. It was 45 minutes. Somebody was like, it was 17 hours long that we did red light, green light.
Clocks. They don't have any watches, Rob. How do they know this? They're making it up. It's like when people are a Survivor, like, we were at Tribal Council for hours. You don't know that. How do you know? Based on what? Someone's like, all right, 3 hours in. Y'all good? Nah, you had y'all out there as long as y'all felt like y'all were out there. I'm sorry that it lasted 3 days of red light, green light.
I think the move, Chappell, was that when the Sarah Beth doll turns around, jump on the ground.
Well, we see a lot of people try that, and I think the problem is that you get caught in mid-motion. They dive, and as they're in the air, Sarah Beth's like, gotcha. I've seen some conspiracies. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but Jessica Leese was pointing out that, Squid Game knows that they have 400 and some odd characters, and they probably are invested in the characters, a few characters who are more standout television. And so who's to know if you're one of the people who just narrowly moved a little bit, or if Sarah Beth is taking a blind eye to you. Now, we know these reality shows are supposed to be beholden to all such laws and stuff like that, but we also watch Big Brother. And so we know that you can rig a show if you want to. So I'm questioning is that if anybody is safe if you don't have at least a good story.
Well, that is a thing that has been said where there are some people, and maybe this is sour grapes, that are out there calling it rigged game. And they said that they had their people that were the stars of the show, and then a lot of other people were getting like dummy mic packs that didn't really work. That basically you were sort of just like in the chorus, some of the people where they knew who the stars of the show were. But ultimately, people have been pretty high on this Squid Games cast, to where I had seen a couple of different memes of people saying like, Squid Game cast was so good, they should have the person who cast Squid Games casting Big Brother. and it's literally Robin Cass, who is the person who was casting Squid Game.
Hey, well, when you're right, you're right. You know, you're right. Also, if Robin Cass had a pool of 500 people, I'm sure you could put together like, all right, 456. Let's put them all in the Big Brother house then, if that's the case. Put them all in the Big Brother house, and then we'll whittle it down, do a couple red light, green lights in the first couple weeks, a little reindeer games here and there, get rid of some of those people, and then maybe we'll get left with the final, 12, 16 people that you need to fill a Big Brother house that are actually decent television. So, Robin Cass, great job.
Yeah, I think it's been a really good group. Chappelle, what do you think about when people got caught by Sarah Beth and they ultimately they die? Okay, their pack explodes. What did you think about the dramatic deaths that the Squid Game people have had?
Oh, so they were just wearing like a gun pack, like a little
yes.
See, in the way in my mind, you had like snipers around the room.
No,
and they were just like that, because that's the role I wanted to play. I watched this, and at no point did I say I want to play Squid Game. I said I want to be one of the people with the paintball gun. I would just light you up from. I think
they had like a remote detonator.
I don't like that. Let me shoot him, but I did enjoy the theater of it all, right? Because some of these people came in knowing this is TV, and they probably I'm sure they told them you have to sell it because it's supposed to be like you died. And some people just kind of like died because they're probably too emotionally invested and they're sad and they just like fall over. But the people who really take the bullets, just like like those are my people. Like there wasn't enough screams for me, honestly. I wanted someone. Like I need that kind of like drama, but there were moments, and even when they start playing off of each other, the person next to you gets shot and you're frozen next to him. You can't move, but you can let your eyes kind of wander over like in fear. Give me that. I love it. I like that they were acting. Get into it.
Okay, we lost a lot of people in red light, green light. So I'm not a math guy, but I think we lost 259 people in red light, green light.
Yes, we were left with 197 people after the first challenge. If you want to pull up our screen again, I want to highlight Rob. I'm going to highlight my winner pick just based off of
okay.
Yeah, and here's why. I'm highlighting this person because they got content in red light, green light, and for some reason have been present throughout the entire season. So yeah, this is me reading the edit, whatever.
Okay,
I don't care.
Good.
But Jada has been here from day one, and I don't quite know why we get so much Jada content, but she's so good. She's so good. I think she's 97.
Yeah, 97. I did happen to know it because I think that she might be my winner pick also.
Yes, queen. Yeah, from Jersey. Jada is everything. I mean, from the first time you see her, she just kind of like, yeah, we're talking this and whoop, whoop, whoop. But by episode 4 and 5, you're like, dang, we always hearing from Jada. She in the mix, There were a couple moments that Jada's had character moments throughout the show, and I'm sure we'll talk about those too. But yeah, I think that coming out of red light, green light, I felt really good about Jada just as a character. Now, we learned very quickly that having content does not mean you cannot die in the very next second, because I think one of the first people we meet is the first person out, or roughly the first person out. And so I was holding on hope for Jada, and I was very happy that she lasted as long as she's done so far.
Well, as for Jada potentially being the winner, I think that Jada is one of only 3 people that from the first episode that we got to meet who is still alive, along with Trey and LeAnn, the mother and son, who, as much as they've been great on the show, and I love them, I don't think that either of them is going to be the winner. And I think that we probably got to see the person who wins in the first episode, right? Right?
I mean, what is it? What is the Tina? What was it? The dog that didn't bark? Like that? Yeah. Maybe it's something like that where we get an arc from somebody later on. But yeah, we know that. I mean, if you're listening to this, hopefully you have watched it all because we about to spoil you, baby. But we know that this most recent challenge is going to pit LeAnn versus Trey anyway. So only one of them is going to make it past this next challenge anyway. So if that's the case, then I think their winner is either Jada or one of whoever survives that. Now, I would love for Jada to win, yes. But also, it would be an interesting plot twist if the person who wins is not one of the first people, and it is somebody who got an arc that started later on in the season.
And I had forgotten about this, but Jada, she had donated a kidney to her brother. If she wins, she's going to donate some of the money to kidney donor assistance centers.
Yes, and to that I say, look, a noble winner. I think that Jada will be great. Jada has some great character moments.
Just
I'll
like the
save my
real
thought.
Squid Game.
Look, there was a lot of parallels with the real Squid Game. We had, an old man who we haven't talked about. We've
And
had
he was
people
in
coming in
charge
with
of the
their
whole
spouses.
thing.
Well, I'm still questioning if we should still be looking for this old man. I have questions about him. But yeah, this has been fun. I like the parallels. I like the fact that we have somebody like Jada who you would very much want to highlight. But I think that does play toward the idea that if it's rigged, you want to keep a Jada around for the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, all right, we mentioned, LeAnn and Trey, the mother and son, and they have been like so good, especially LeAnn, who's been just such a star of this thing and has done such a great job. Do you think for LeAnn and Trey, was it a good idea for them to tell people they are mother and son? They didn't have to, right?
They didn't have to. But I guess you have nothing else to do in there. I
I
mean,
guess so.
except they have watches apparently. I don't know, but you're just sitting there all day
I
talking.
mean, Jared and Suri came in not telling people, and it was at least a couple of weeks before Jared told Blue.
Yeah, and Jared had other reasons to tell Blue as well. So I don't think Trey had any reason to out the relationship with his mom. But I think that I think they had to say it at some point because he's gonna want to look out for his mom in any way he can, and any allies that he has, he wants to be able to say, and not her either. And so I think it was very transparent. Although they're so invested in each other's success after one challenge. You can't be teary-eyed crying and hugging somebody without me going, so do y'all know each other or something? Because it was just red light, green light. Y'all acting like she survived. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people whose allergies were acting up after that first one when LeAnn made it because she narrowly makes it at the end. And I mean, I was like, is somebody chopping onions in here? LeAnn, thank you. So I think that telling people is not the best strategy, but trying to hide it would probably been a little bit more obvious than you think.
Okay. We got through red light, green light. Anything else you want to say about red light, green light?
I mean, for you to run out of time in red light, green light, I'm kind of thinking like you big brain this too much. You were thinking like I'm gonna move really, really slow, and then they're not gonna catch me. So for the people who ran out of time, that was weird. And we saw one person who he finishes first. Later on, he will only make it so far. But people were looking at him as a target, saying, "Oh yeah, this guy finished first in red light, green light, so maybe we should be looking at him as somebody potentially to throw a disadvantage or something." You never know what 500 people roughly are thinking in a game like this. And so anything can get the target put in your back.
Right. That's why if you stand out in any way, and that's where I feel like that's where the comparison to New Era Survivor goes. It's like, make any move. People are like, oh, gotta go. Gotta go. That's
gotta
it.
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
we seen that. And I mean, but look at when you say stand out, it could be the smallest things.
Right.
We've seen a guy who basically got he got outed, I guess, right after red light, green light. So then their next move is like, okay, we got to pick a person to eliminate. And they're like, that guy seems to like everybody. Everybody seems to like him. Let's get rid of him. It wasn't done anything. He done really well in the challenge, and that was about it.
So
boom, he's gone.
So you're talking about the test in the kitchen, right? This is okay. So this is like the first thing that this was an innovation. This did not happen in the Squid Game series, but there's basically opportunities or like tests that the different players are going to be given. And we get Kyle, who's one of the mullet guys. Kyle and Danny, they work in the kitchen, and they're given the opportunity. You could give one person an advantage or take somebody out of the game. Now, why you would give anybody an advantage, that I don't know.
Unless you can take credit for it and tell that person, I did this for you, you should look out for me. Maybe there's a merit to it, but there's just too many people and there's too much variance in the challenges to where you could give somebody advantage and then you could go immediately next to where you never even reap the benefits of something like that. But Rob, they picked the perfect two people to do this challenge because Danny and Kyle are both they're gamers. They're like, look, we didn't come in here to make friends. We came in here to stop other people from winning the game, and that's what we're gonna do. Danny is a small person. Yeah, I think she said she roughly 4'9".
Yeah,
And,
4'10". Yeah.
yeah, and then Kyle has this mullet, and both of them came to play. And so they say, okay, let's just take a social piece off the board. And it just seems like I won't say at random, but it seems like this guy did nothing. Number 200, I believe, he did nothing to warrant this.
So yeah, he was a popular guy. His name was Mothi, and Mothi, they tell us he does musical theater, and he sees himself as someone who can lead and be a team player, mostly because he has lots of stamina and self-confidence, and he can go.
Yeah,
That's it.
stamina, self-confidence, big target. You know,
Eh,
he's gone. And it's crazy too, because the other people, when Kyle and Danny are walking around like, so if you had the opportunity to, disadvantage somebody or eliminate somebody, would you take it? Everybody's like, no. What? And I would do that. That's scummy. Why would you do that to somebody? And they're like, yeah, you're right. Definitely wouldn't do that to somebody. To the point where Kyle actually kind of seems a little obvious. I don't know if everybody is suspicious.
That was my favorite
everybody.
Part. Yeah, because he was so sus that he was like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
God dang,
not Mothi.
Right.
What?
Not him.
What?
Number 200.
Who do that?
Why? You guys. What the hell, you guys?
Not cool. Not
cool. And people are like, all right, Kyle did it. And I don't know. There's over 100 people in that room. I'm pretty sure everybody is a suspect to someone. But even just that moment where I'll be like, have you spoken to him? I've never seen him react like that. It was time.
Yeah. Okay. So there's another moment that comes up, okay, with another guy who is one of our villains here in the Squid Game, the challenge, heroes versus villains. Let's talk about Lorenzo. Okay. 161. Okay. And everybody is going to get their food, and Lorenzo is going to be taking seconds and be burying them and then eating everybody else's lunch. Now, did I miss it? Like, did they only come out with like 197 lunches? And then did somebody not get a lunch because Lorenzo took 2?
Yeah, so in the original Squid Game, we were led to believe that there was only 1 meal per person. And so if you took more, then that left somebody hungry. I think that some of these people were like, I don't want to eat this, because we even saw people giving their food to Lorenzo. He's like, if y'all don't want that, don't throw it away. They said, here, take it. Whatever. You want a spoon? I got you one. So I think that it could have been drama, and maybe there was some drama and we just didn't see it because it didn't lead to anything. But he stole at least an extra one and then ate 2 other people's food as well. So this was supposed to pan out to something. If nothing else, it just gave villainy. But Jada, my girl, we're talking about Jada, and Jada's one of the people who sees it. She's like, can you believe this? This man is taking food. Oh my God, who would steal food from another person's mouth? Oh, this is disgusting, despicable human. And then episodes later, we see Jada steal a whole damn burger.
Look, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain in the Squid Game.
She is not a villain, but she stole that burger, and I screamed because I was thinking, Jada, now I know that wasn't your ass. I know that who I think I is, and so a lot of that going on. But Lorenzo, we get Lorenzo in game, but then we get his backstory, and Lorenzo's like, I'm not playing by the rules here. I don't like corporate America, very Sue Hawk, but he's like, I don't like those rules. I'm out here living chaotic, and it's just how I want to live, and you just have to deal with it. And I was like, Lorenzo as a villain, pretty decent villain. I'll take it.
Yeah. And the irony of that, he ultimately loses because when LeAnn comes out with apple slices, he's like, no, I don't want apple slices. Very suspicious. I don't want that. And so that he passes up food, and that's why he loses.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. He's like, I stole food because that's what you would do if you're playing Squid Game. Someone giving you food, this must be the true villain of the series. Like, he could not foresee a world where he was supposed to be grateful for these apples. But here's the thing, Lorenzo, you could be grateful and also be quiet. Had he just said, I'm good, thank you, But no, Lorenzo like, yeah, so I don't need them apples. Keep your raggedy ass apples. Girl, what do you want? A medal? Like, I don't want that. And so it's like, all right, Lorenzo, you're pissed off, LeAnn, and she's coming for that ass. And so they end up voting for each other in that one challenge. And Lorenzo, the villain that he is like, let me make sure I get your number correct, LeAnn, because I'm about to vote you out.
Oh, well, that was the best part when he's like, oh, let me get your number. Is it 301 or 301? She's like, that's the same thing.
He said, you better believe it. And he went and placed his vote. You goddamn right it is, LeAnn.
Yeah. Also, but Jada, that we also got that she said something that we heard a lot this summer. She told us that, hey, I have the faith of a mustard seed.
Of a mustard seed. If that is not a good omen, then what is?
Somebody's gonna win one of these reality shows having the faith of the mustard seed.
Yeah, it'll probably be Top Chef. The mustard seeds will be like their final touch on their last plate.
Yeah. Chappell, let's talk about game number 2, which was, and I want to make sure that I have this right. This is going to be the cookie game, and I don't have. I'm sure somebody in the chat can tell me what it's actually called. And so we have,
I believe.
What's it called?
Dalgona.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have to cut out the shapes. Now, in the Squid Game, the series, from what I remember, everybody just went and they got a thing. They didn't know what it was going to correlate to. Here, the twist is everybody gets in line, and the line leader has to decide in 2 minutes what cookie shape they're going to carve out.
This is cinema. This is what I'm talking about when I say sometimes you just got to spice things up just a little bit. Giving them a random cookie is fine. And I've seen people kind of try to to play into this a little bit more and say, well, you could have done X, Y, Z. But I do think you get some good quality content out of this because you have 4 lines that have to be lined up evenly. And then they all have to decide on, which person, I guess the first person in line has to decide on which shape their entire line is going to get. But it has to be unanimous. So in the first run through, we get people saying, all right, cool. I want the circle. I want the triangle. I'll settle for the star, but I am not doing the umbrella because you could piss off your entire line if you get stuck with the umbrella, and the umbrella sucks. It looks like it's hard to do. And so I'm sure these people have practiced the cookie. I get that. People have been practicing licking the hell out these cookies. I know they have. And they probably know how difficult it is to do something like that umbrella. So you have to go in and put your foot down. The problem here is that if you are not unanimous, you all die. All of you die. And Rob, if I thought I could play a Squid Game, this is where I lose. Because when I tell you I am stubborn, that's it. For me, it's circle or bust. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry we're ending the game here. That's above me. It's your go get umbrella and so we can go on about our day.
I think you're gonna say that you're gonna lose because you wouldn't spit on the cookie.
Oh no, baby, I'm gonna sit on the cookie every time. Now, look, if I can get to the cookie portion, I'm in there. I'm surgical. Okay. The problem is I'm not settling for the umbrella. Not because I couldn't do the umbrella, because I picked that shit up too. But I don't want everybody in my line mad at me. Are you kidding me?
Well, the problem is that you'd be dead.
I said, if I end up with the umbrella, I'm going to be fine. I don't want the people behind me in line who also end up with
but
the umbrella.
They'll be dead too.
Some of them will make it. There were some people who survived the umbrella, and I don't want to deal with their asses when they survive it. But let me be very clear. Circle or bust. There's no way. So I would have died the first round. I'd circle. Oh no, somebody needs to go to umbrella. And I don't know who that person is, but that's not me. So we saw that this happens like 2 times in a row, right? Or did it happen 3 times?
I think it happens twice. And then we meet Spencer.
Yeah, then we meet Spencer. The star. Hey man, no, literally the star. $2.99 television gold. This is what you want. This is the person you need in that third spot.
Okay.
They couldn't have written this better.
All right. Here's Spencer, that he is one of 9 siblings, he lives in North Carolina. So here he is. He's 21. And he tells us right away, he's like, well, I'm a mama's boy and I, am very anxious. Yeah, I think he's crying before he even goes in there.
Well, the pressure of, oh my God, I'm next, and I'm going to have to stand up to these other people. And look, it's the big bad wolf. It's 4, 3, 2, boom, boom, boom. Like, so
Mhm.
with him there, what am I going to do? It's just me, and I don't like to speak up too much, and I'm kind of introverted, and I get anxious, and we're just looking at just like it all dawning on him. The Mr. Krabs meme is happening. The room is spinning. He's like, oh God, and then you got people being like, dang, boy, why you crying? What you crying for? It ain't that scary. Dang, all you gotta do is get the umbrella. What you panicking for? And the pressure is on, and you could feel a bead of sweat dripping down his neck. Oh yeah, 299. He was here for our
Which
television
felt
viewing pleasure.
body language, even in like the full body picture. Like, they threw poor Spencer to the wolves.
You knew this was the one that was going to get Spencer. When the producers cast him, they were like, the cookie, like they knew it. They knew it was going to happen. Red light, green light, he's fine. I think there's a couple other challenges where he'd probably be very good. But this negotiating part is his weakness. Had he not been the negotiator, who knows if he would have been able to get the triangle done? Because he got fairly decent on the umbrella. But as far as having to put his foot down and not like crack under the pressure of everybody else's expectations, this is not the guy that is going to survive something like that, but he's always going to deliver good TV.
Yeah. We got a question from Greg Dunlap who said, I'm curious about the best strategy for selecting your group's shape in the cookie game. I think that you just put your hand on one of the other shapes and then wait for somebody else to blink. I think that's really it.
You have to go in with the idea. So some people, I think a good strategy that was working was the person who went for the star was normally like, look, I'm not going to get too much fight for the star. And I feel like I understand that, but also with the star being directly next to the umbrella, it incentivizes the person with the umbrella to be like, no, I'm just going to stand next to it too, So I think that the star doesn't help that much, and also the star is probably difficult as well. I think optimal strategy is you go to the circle and you do not move, and if you lose, you lose. But I think that's the optimal strategy.
And I think triangle's a little bit better because you're not going for the best one. It's like, look, I'm just on a triangle. You could go for circle. Yeah.
You could go. Yeah. But you just never flinch. The thing is, you have to be willing to die. And we see people like, I'm willing to die right now. I'm willing to take me out. And they're like, all right. And that's okay. Like you got to know that if you get the umbrella, chances are you're probably going to lose anyway, based off of what we see in this episode.
So Spencer ends up that he like tries to like rally everybody. He's like, all right, look, I'll take the umbrella. Okay. All right. But you get done early. You got to help me. You got to help me. You're going to spit on somebody else's cookie. Do I have that right? They're not even going to be in the same room.
Right. Will you spit on my cookie? Yes or no?
Yes or no? Okay, I'm going. Okay. And then immediately after he selects, it's like, players are not allowed to help each other.
Please do not spit on anyone else's cookie. That is harassment. I think that Spencer thought he had did the thing. He tried to, find the middle ground on this thing where he really had to stand 10 toes. He had to stand on business, and he did not. He just folded, and that's okay as long as you now do not lose in the cookie. And for a second, I thought he had it.
He thought he had it. And he ends up having the best death out of anybody in the entire series.
Yes, because it was a moral death as well. It was a physical, like, weight lifted off his shoulders. It's not like he ascended in that moment. Like, he was done. He just cried in a puddle and just bled out. Perfect television. People are too hard on him. And the reason I say this is because I know some of y'all. In real life. I've watched these other reality shows that these people are on. I see people crying during the circle. Y'all be crying on The Bachelorette. Don't tell me that you ain't gonna nut up. And if you got all these people mad at you right now, I think people fold on Survivor, Big Brother. I don't want to eliminate my friends. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What if America hates me? Shut up. Yeah, so y'all are bad too. Stop it. Everybody can't stand 10 toes. It's okay. Spencer, justice for Spencer.
You're with Brighton. Some people being too emotional on Squid Game.
Bro, they get so angry at this dude for folding. I'm just like, bro, I've met y'all. I know y'all. Stop it. That's how I know I've been fine in circle. Because I'd have walked over there and been like, so what y'all talking about? And I would have either died or y'all would have ended up on umbrella. But makes no mistake, some of y'all are talking big and bad from the Netflix couch.
Okay. everybody goes through the cookie game. We lose some friends along the way. 134 and 101, both the people who eliminated Mothi, they don't make it through the cookie game.
Yeah, what they say, that clown comes back to bite you when you do clownery. That karma, it come back around full sail, and it did. It got them both, but it was still good TV because you even got Danny being like, "This is my karma. This is why I'm losing right here. I betrayed him and I shouldn't have. I went against my more like, yes, that's the kind of content we want. We don't want just like, damn, mess that up. Like, no, give us a narrative to go with this." She says, "I realized very quickly that I snaked Monty and now he's gone. And now I'm like, can I even live with myself?" Well, guess what, Danny? You ain't got to. You're gone. And I will say this: Danny had a quick little arc where I was like, okay, Danny, that little cutthroat move you did there, the way she was talking about her game, the way she was talking about herself, I was like, all right, we rooting for Danny here. Nah, she's gone, and so is other mullet boy Kyle.
All right, we get to episode 3 after the cookie game, and we end up with a huge moment in the show where they bring a phone into the room. Okay, a rotary phone gets placed into the room and nothing happens. Everybody's like waiting around. What's going to happen with the phone? And they did like a really good job with the editing of like people just be having conversations and they cut to the phone, like not ringing. It's just like, you don't forget. It's very tense. And did you think anything good would come from answering the phone?
The thing is like in a game like this, you assume that something bad is going to happen. So you have to offer something good or no one will ever take the bait on anything ever again. So it's like you have to offer an alternative, because what if they try the phone thing and it's literally you answer the phone, you're eliminated. Then the next time they say, all right, y'all, we're about to do a test. Like, nope, I'm good. Anybody want to volunteer? No. We're just gonna sit here. We're gonna sit here in a circle. And we're gonna stare at each other. Nobody's going over there. So you have to show people that there is a good door and a bad door here. And it happened. They show the phone there. They show people not really wanting to do it. But then there's one person who really has the phone on his mind. And let's just give some backstory for this. So there are a few bros running around. We talked about 432, but there are a couple others as well who they are kind of like the jocks, in their minds. They're doing a lot of exercising. I played football at Clemson, woo, woo, woo. And people are looking over and like, I don't know about them. I want to get them out. I want to target them. And we see an interaction between 107 and 432. And this is 198. 198 and 432. And 198 says, hey, I think you're a frat boy. All that frat boy stuff that you're doing over there, I don't like it. And 432 said, I don't want you to call me that. He said, well, I'm gonna call you that anyway. So they have a little quick discussion. 432 says, I can't fight you in here. But when we get out of here, I'm gonna beat your ass. And if you keep calling me a frat boy. And he says, okay, frat boy. So, the gauntlet has been thrown down. There's beef in the neighborhood.
And 432 is all talk from what we know, right? We don't believe that Hussein has had his ass beat.
Yeah, we don't know that. We don't know that. We do not know that. But we also are not sure. But 432 says, all right, 198, I'm gonna see you around. And so 198 says, this is my perfect opportunity. This phone can be what it takes for me to be the one to eliminate 432. And so he makes it his life's mission in this moment to win this advantage and to take out 432. He stands next to the phone. And even after he answers it the first time and gets that surprise we talked about earlier, the burgers, the fries, he also is standing far enough around to where he can see the phone at all times, and he wants to run over to it and answer it a second time at the possibility of getting 432 out.
And that's why Brighton is so great. 432 has been amazing on this show because not only has he provided great drama, he is getting other people to hate him so much they get themselves killed.
A lot of the questions I've seen online, specifically for us, but also just in general, is Could he have done something differently? Could
Yes.
198 have gone about this a different way where this blind obsession with getting 432 out does not end in his demise? We see the first time he gets food, people come and take the food. My girl Jada takes an entire burger with her hypocritical ass. And you're like, oh, this burger was the best burger I ever had. Oh my God, I'm glad I wasn't stealing that stir fry like he did, And so the phone rings again and he runs over to the phone. And he picks it up. And then he gets the longest phone call. Rob, that was, I think, one of the things that was working against him. This phone call was way too long to be like, it just says give the phone to somebody else. But they say, yeah, you hang up this phone when we tell you to hang it up. But your job is to make somebody else pick up the phone. Make somebody else go get the phone. And his eyes are locked on 432. He's like, hey, don't you want to come get the phone? No, I just told you I was going to beat your ass. I know you're not about to give me something nice. Are you crazy? So, Rob, my question here for you is, what should he have done? What would you have done?
I have not put myself in that position. I've seen a lot of good theories about it. Sophie Clark on Twitter said that he should have like dropped the phone and gotten into like a defensive posture to act like he was going to fight anybody who tried to take the phone. Brighton said his mistake was he was trying to he should have like given the phone to one of his friends, because then at least you would think, oh, he's trying to give something good away to somebody he likes, not opposed to random people or people he doesn't like.
These people are random people. So in my mind, Brighton is almost there. In my mind, anybody can go at this point. It's not about you getting 432 out. It's about you getting anybody out, because it's either you or them. And so at that point, you're like, go get your best friend. You don't know them like that. All y'all did was survive red light, green light together in a cookie. So it's like, yeah, it's been roughly 2 days, but tomorrow this person could be the person who gets me out. So, hey, buddy, trust me on this one. Take the phone. Come get the phone. Boom. You don't know what they would have said to them. They probably would have said, okay, now it's your turn to give somebody the phone. This game could have lasted 3 or 4 people.
Right.
So, who knows?
A Renegade brings up, and Scally had said on Twitter that you should have just said like, oh, they said I couldn't do it because I already got the treat. I have to give it to somebody else. Anything would have been better than what ultimately happened.
And then what he tries to bargain, when he realizes 432 is not taking the bait, this man just got a burger and fries, and everybody just devours it like no, their hands and feet everywhere. Just, I got to get this burger. I got to get these fries. He says, all right, if you come get this, they'll give you a chocolate muffin. Sir, what? I'm supposed to go risk my life because of a chocolate muffin? A chocolate muffin, of all the things. Slice of pizza, piece of steak. It was very much Jeff Probst in the old days of Survivor. Like, all right, for you, we got 3 Tic Tacs. Who wants to bid $100? You're like, what, 200, Jeff? I was like, bruh, give me some. This ain't nothing. Give me some. So chocolate muffin. And then some people were like, damn, I do kind of want that chocolate muffin. Sir.
Yeah. Chocolate muffin?
Bad.
Really? Are you sure? You sure?
So how chocolate? When you say chocolate, you mean whole grain chocolate?
But 432 was like, you idiots, don't take it.
Yeah. He's like, bruh, you gonna trust him, the guy who just got the burger and who went up here again, who's been standing there like a deer in the headlights. He was so obvious when he was standing there. I think the shock of, I have to give this away and or I'm eliminated and I have to figure out a way to do it. The headlights were just on. His eyes were big as day, to where people started to actively avoid him. They just like, I'm gonna walk away. I don't really know what you got going on, but something about this just don't smell right. So yeah, several people got ready to go up there. There's a guy who they're like, Step, get over here. No, put it down. Put the phone down. Stop it. Like, they have to literally drag somebody away from the phone because they're so damn nosy. Had he just put the phone down and walked away, I'm sure somebody would have picked it up. Had he said nothing. But, targeting somebody was his downfall.
Yep. And so 198, he's gone. And Brighton is loving life.
Well,
this was probably the high point of the series for him.
For Brighton?
Yeah.
Or for 198? For both,
for
probably.
Brighton. Yeah.
Both, yeah. Well, so the thing is, 198 gets out. And there are several people who they're done with Brighton, but we see LeAnn kind of going over to Brighton and being like, "Why are you like this? What's wrong with you? What about you?" And we get his backstory about him growing up without his dad
Yeah, she
around
wants
and
to
being
get to
raised
know
by a
him.
white mom. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so we do get that this person is getting a lot of content that is like, okay, if you're rooting for the villain, then it's giving you some rootable content here. And I don't think he did anything is especially despicable to be like asking for all the ire he was getting. But that does not mean that I too would not have wanted him out had I been there. Some people just not easy to live with. And he's just one of those people. So yeah, once we got 198 out, they never even find out what 198's challenge was. They just know that he wasn't able to do it successfully and he gets carted out. So they could be thinking, man, had I just taken that chocolate muffin, he might have still been here. But he's gone now. So that's it. Got to move on.
Yeah. Mari's in the chat. She says, Darius, don't touch that phone.
Put the phone down. Oh, yeah. If we were all yelling at Darius.
He's like, a chocolate muffin?
Chocolate muffin?
Okay.
Hold on. I ain't never had one of them before. Darius, sit down. Sit down. We got a Black Alliance going. Stop it.
All right. So we start to get some more alliances forming because the players are starting to think, hey, tug of war is around the corner. Okay. So Brighton's got his group. We see Dr. Rick, who we haven't talked about a lot, and Steven, who came in with his best friend Chase at the very beginning. He ends up bonding, and they are part of a group. And I want to make sure that I pronounce this right. The Gambu Gang?
The Gangbu Gang.
Gangbu Gang.
Yeah, Gangbu. They got a gang going on, a Gangbu gang bang.
I don't think it's that. But Dr. Rick, okay, we have our resident old man here. You can't do a Squid Game without an old man. And much like old man in the original Squid Game, he's just psyched to be like recapturing his youth, hanging out with some bros.
Yeah, that's his story.
This is what he missed.
I have lived a long life and I have a lot of hobbies.
He hangs out with bees now.
Yeah, I like to live on the wide side. And so he got his bees. He's a beekeeper. He also has a bunch of tattoos. Yeah, we get really invested in the story of Rick. And so anybody who has seen Squid Game proper, they're probably thinking, oh, he's got something to do with this. This man is in on it. I don't understand. Yeah, why are we letting this old, like, the people out there the people out there, y'all know who y'all are. The cunning people who are kind of looking at this game as a potential like way to, like, I got to figure out how to win this. They're looking at Rick as a target. They're like, nah, something about this old man. We might need to snuff this out very quickly. But Steven has looked at him as his number one ally. Yeah. And he's like, no, me and the old man, we're just like the pair from the show. And so we're going to get along great. And so they're both two big parts of the Gangbu Gang moving forward, preparing for tug of war.
Now, there are some people who, as Sasha's in the chat, says he is sus. Some people do think that he is in on it.
Well, I mean, the Slytherins all gonna feel that way. All of us, we like old
Some
ass
people
man.
feel like the old man, the Dr. Rick is a plant.
Okay, so not to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but yes, there is a moment where Steven and Dr. Rick get a task and they go in, and it's just that little game that they play, Dakshi, I think it's called, and they go in and they're just playing the game. They think that they're teaching each other, maybe having a bonding moment, but it turns out this is actually a little challenge, and Dr. Rick wins the challenge, and we think, okay, what does that mean for Steven? Is he about to go home? Is he about to get eliminated? Is his little pack going to blow up? Is he going to get shot? No, the guys in the red PlayStation outfit comes out and he goes, hey, here's this package for you. And without even opening the package, Rick says it's a chocolate bar. And we say, oh, okay, cool. And we just take Rick's word for it, unless you're Sasha. And then you're like, well, open the chocolate bar. Open it right now in front of everybody. Give me a piece of chocolate. Let me see it. And so I think that if you don't
have to open it and it'd be like inside it says, okay, you're out. You're out of the game.
Right. But like, how do you know it's chocolate? You could just feel chocolate through the screen. Was it like a Hershey bar? How it has the little squares.
Maybe you could smell it.
Maybe you could smell it through the paper. How did he know it was candy, y'all? So like I said, the Sashas in the world, they're like, open the chocolate, Rick. Dr. Rick, if that's your real name.
I mean, did him and Steven just house that chocolate bar?
If they did, they didn't show it. So if they didn't show it, did it even happen? I wonder if this show plays out exactly the same if people have not seen Squid Game proper, right? If people did not know to be worried about a Rick, are we watching this with the same eyes on it? Or is the producers and the editors saying, they're going to suspect the old man. Let's give them something else to talk about.
Yeah. That he has a couple of moments in the confessionals. He talks about, and David mentions this in the chat. He talks about how is very passionate about his hobbies. He's a beekeeper. He thinks about his bees. He wants to know, did the bees think of me?
Hey, that's a good question. There is a
Mhm.
bee in this season. She wasn't thinking about him. She didn't seem to be cared. She didn't say too much about Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, we've got our alliances going into the tug of war. We haven't talked about our friend Figgy is here. Okay.
Okay.
Figgy, aka number 33, also was on Survivor 33.
When
Coincidence?
when they said Figgy, you immediately knew that was your Figgy?
Yes, because I knew she was on it. I had known she was going to be part of it.
Oh, see, I didn't know. So I was like, Figgy, that's not a common name. I wonder if that's the same Figgy. And then I got on Twitter. If they're like, Figgy, girl, we love you, Figgy. I was like, all right. Like, Figgy was cool. 33. Shout out to Figgy. You had a very good exit interview with Figgy. I will never forget it. Because
that was one of the all-timers.
One of the all-timers. I've never heard somebody so fed up.
Well, she had also been, like she says, like, hey, I've been drinking all day.
Yeah, and your exit interviews are normally in the morning. So Figgy was going hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he had a lot to talk about that. A failed showmance and a lot of other things going on in that exit interview. We didn't get any showmance activity from Figgy this time. I think she was more tapped in on the game.
Yeah. So from what I heard on TikTok, they did give them all condoms, Chappell. But there was
hold on, pause. They thought that was going to be in the bunker.
I mean, in front of people were having sex in the original Squid Games, Chappell.
Were they? Oh yeah, in that bathroom. Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
They was about to allow them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Squid Game.
So this is where it got like pretty wild. They said that nobody used the condoms for the sex, but
what did they use them for?
So they did use that their lips were so chapped, Chappell, that the lubricant from the condom was being used for like chapstick.
Excuse me?
That's what I heard on TikTok.
Them people on TikTok be lying. They lying. You lying. You lie. You lie.
I'm not lying. I'm telling you what. Allegedly.
Y'all rubbing condom juice on y'all lips. My lips would have just had to bust like some sausages. Because I'm not putting no condom juice on my lips. Off principle. I'm like Mad Dog from Survivor. Like, I counted those condoms every day, and there was the same amount of condoms when I got there. There was no condom juice on nobody's lips. Yeah, buzzing like some hot dogs in a microwave before I put a damn condom lubricant on my lips. Are y'all kidding me?
Prophylactics.
Yeah. Sasha says, now that's a story you tell when you're doing something else.
Right. Like, where did those condoms go?
Yeah, hey, why is that condom in your mouth? Yeah.
Oh,
I have very chapped lips.
I hate it. They were chapped. Like, I bet they were chapped. I bet they were. Yeah. This just doesn't seem like, first of all, the fact that y'all even thought to buy condoms for these people, it would, like, first of all, if they willing to do the deed on Squid Game, let them do the deed and get whatever comes from it. I'm sorry. It's not my job to make sure these people are responsible. If y'all want to be out here smashing in the back of the bunker underneath the bunk beds, then go for it. If you want to go into the kitchen and peel carrots and then other things, that's for you. We're not providing condoms for you people.
You don't think that'd be huge for ratings if we had a squid baby?
Yeah, then why give them the condoms? Let them go back there and do it too. This challenge, if you accept it, you know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, what?
All right.
Don't get me wrong. If they start doing it in the back, I'm sitting at the top bunk. I'm watching. I'm gonna see what's going on. I'm telling you, I'm snitching. Big snitch energy.
All right. Figgy was great. I was happy to see Figgy.
Yeah, man. Figgy is a good television character in general. We saw that she made a name for herself really in Survivor, but also here to stand out in a room full of 100 and some odd people and still get a storyline just based off of the interaction that she had with Trey and with some of the other people. They were very sad to see Figgy go. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was too. I really wish we would have got more of Figgy. I think Figgy is probably prime for maybe like one more good reality TV show appearance because she's good. She's good at
Where
telling
do
her
you
own
want
story.
her? Where do you want to use
Um,
Figgy?
Let's see. Think it'd probably be decent on Big Brother. No?
How's Figgy not in the mix for the challenge CBS?
I think at this point she has to be, right? I think like
Mm-hmm.
she might not have been prior to this, but showing her back in Squid Game and seeing that she was able to garner so much attention in the little bit of time we had, I think that yeah, put her on the challenge.
Okay. All right. Everybody's getting ready. It's time for tug of war. Everybody's in their line. Like I think he really got into it. What the one guy that was in her line for the tug of war, you had to get down to what, like 12 people. And Figgy was like telling this guy, like, hey, get off our line. You had too many people.
If you in the back, go ahead and move to the next line because we not about to have. And I'll give that man some credit. He said, "I don't care if y'all vote unanimously, baby. If I'm going, we all going. You don't get to tell me. I'm with him. Y'all don't get to punk me into doing what y'all want me to do. I'm sorry. If the whole line gotta go, the whole line gotta go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna watch how you talk to me. That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Because I'll blow all this shit up.
Let me tell you another guy who started to get some airtime in this point, who I think has some winner upside. Let's talk about TJ, the basketball coach.
TJ, the basketball coach.
182.
Love me some TJ. He's from Texas. So I was like, all right, cool. TJ from Texas, let's do this. And TJ is very much a motivational person in these moments. He's trying to keep people's mind on the game. He's like, all right, everybody get in line, stop arguing, face forward. We're gonna do this. And he's the perfect captain for a game that they're about to play, which we were not privy to, right? This is not a game from the first original Squid Game. They all think they're about to go play tug of war, when in reality, they're about to go play battleship or warship, whatever you want to call it.
Warship. Yeah. Okay. And so the rules were a little confusing here for warship of you pick the person, you pick the captain, and then they had a lieutenant, and then you pick the people in the boat, and you didn't die if you just got hit. If your boat sank though, you died. Now, if your boat sank and your team won, did you die then too?
If your boat sinks, you die regardless. But
Even if the team wins.
Even if the other team wins, even if your team wins, you die if your boat sinks. You can survive. So your team can lose and you still survive. The only people who are guaranteed to die if your team loses are the people whose boat sank and the captains. They have to go down with the ships. But everybody else got to go back home.
Okay. All right. So we have our battleship game. Did you like this game?
It's fine. I think that I prefer a game that allows you a little bit more agency in your own life because we saw that this team, like team number one, was made up of the jocks, right? And they're like, okay, we got our perfect tug of war team together, and now we're about to find out that, oh no, this is a strategy based game. Cool, that's a good little twist to throw in there, but it's really only one person's strategy because it seems like the captain and co-captain, they get to decide where to put the pieces and then they get to decide where to guess. You can probably give your insight, but you can't actually determine who's getting shot and when. And so you see people like 432, like Figgy, like a couple others where they're right there and they're probably decent at something like this. Maybe if they're given the chance to be the head of something like this, but at the same time, they're not. They just have to be a piece and they have to hope for the best. And so we saw
sad way to lose 432. I really bummed. I thought that it was going to be like a real come from behind. I thought that they were actually going to make it. Like he was like in his final moments. He was like, "Hey, nobody give up. We got this."
Well, yeah, because the thing is, his ass is on the line. He's like, "Why are y'all crying? Why are y'all upset? I'm the one about to get sunk." Me and him and his partner. He was in a 2-person boat. So you're in a boat with 2 people. You get hit one time, that's fine, but that next hit, you're done. And so, there were definitely people who chose the longer ship carriers. They had like 5 people on it because it's going to take longer to kill them. But they're also bigger targets. And then you have the people who's like 432 who pick the smaller boat because they're less likely to get hit. But once you get hit, your days are numbered. Yeah. And so we lose him here. And it's very anticlimactic, I think, because this is where we see the emergence of another player, Brad, who is the one who's ultimately able to take down this team from the captain position. And so, we lose a character, but we do gain Brad, and I thought that he was pretty good.
Okay, here, let me see. Let me bring up Brad. Brad, is that Bradford?
Yeah, I believe he's 337.
337. Okay.
Yeah.
Here is Bradford. Okay. He is 39 years old. That he loves to travel. He doesn't want to be in the limelight too much.
No, and he wasn't. Like I said, up until this episode, we really got very little, if any, of Brad. And now in this episode, he's in the driver's seat, and so he's part of the reason why we see the demise of 432. He seems like a fun guy.
Yeah. Why does he get to? He gets this picture, but then I guess if you get far enough, do you get like a fun picture?
I think he's a fun person, so you kind of have to just give it to him. Like, okay, Brad, do your thing. So yeah, he's another person who emerges at this point. We got a lot of suspense out of these episodes, because the idea that boom, we gotta miss, boom, we gotta miss. But if they get one more, there's only one more spot they could go to, and this will be the end of you. You better hope they don't get you to. I'm sure there's a lot of emergent strategy to how to win a battleship or warship game. And we hear a lot of that from players like B, who also are standouts here. But yeah, I think that for a lot of people, they didn't just have the chance to actively participate in saving themselves. And so it did feel like a lot of them went out with a whimper.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that you should be using the sides a little bit more. I feel like that nobody's ever shooting at the sides. I know that it's like once they got you on the side, they kind of got you, but ultimately, I feel like that all these guesses are always in the middle of the board.
Yeah, I think typical battleship strategy says that, if you're shooting at other people, you're supposed to be aiming toward the middle. And so because that's where people put their stuff. And so I think it's just the way the game shook out. B though is like I'm a Mensa. I'm smarter than all the rest of you. Let me watch me cook. And B does. B does not lose a single person in her strategy. She ends up winning. Both, and her and TJ both were able to save their entire teams and bring everybody back home to safety.
Yeah. And so B is emerging here. Do you think that she is a potential winner candidate?
I think so. I think that anybody who is hey, that fun picture, she ate that. Boom. Okay, but I think everybody who is left is a potential winner candidate, just because of the nature of anybody can go. Anybody can get it today or tomorrow. We don't know who can go next. And so, yeah, why not? B had a good episode, and I think that's great for somebody as far as like their winner edit goes.
Okay. All right. So we come out of our warship game, and are we down to only 73 people at this point?
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, y'all. Because we've lost so many people so quickly. Red light, green light really did just eliminate so many pieces off the board, to where now we're down to the last 70 some odd people. And these people, most of them haven't had content, but the ones that we have content from, they're pretty big characters. So now we've seen TJ, we've seen B, and now we're even getting the emergence of someone else, Cheney,
Okay.
Chad, Mai. All these people are just popping up in these late stages in episodes 4 and 5.
Yep. And we get to see all of their different stories about everything that they're going through. And the show really does a really good job of like setting things up. A lot of times it's like, oh, we meet a person just so they're going to die. But it's very exciting when they pull through.
Yeah, the show gives you just enough to where you care about that person long enough for them to die. And I'm okay with that. Like, it's like, all right, cool. But I also don't like connecting with these players so quickly, because when we see Cheney and TJ talking, and then Cheney starting to emerge as this big character, you're like, okay, are we going to lose Cheney soon? Is Cheney going to be somebody to watch? Or is there a void of a villain right now in the season now that 432 is going? And so I really didn't know what to think in this moment with the players we had left. But I think that the show is doing a really good job at giving us somebody to root for at all times.
Okay. We start to see the emergence of a character. They call him Dr. V. That he's 330, and that he's like kind of comes across a little bit like a cult leader. Of like he's trying to get everybody to subscribe to his philosophy, rubbing some people the wrong way.
Yes, 330 comes in, and he has decided that, we need to come at these decisions from a place of love and not from a place of, trying to cut each other down. And so because of that, he feels like he has the best strategy moving forward to like how they can make these decisions, because the next challenge is that they have to vote out 3 people and they have to do it in front of everyone. And so the way it works is that the people are lined up. There's going to be a keypad where you go in and type someone's number, and then if you vote for somebody new, their name pops up on the screen, their face pops up on the screen. If you vote for that same person or somebody whose name has already been voted for, nobody pops up on the screen. So your vote is essentially secret. But if you vote for a new person, your name is now up there, and people are incentivized to vote for you too, to keep their vote secret and also to get revenge on you for targeting maybe them or their allies. So it's a lot of layers to this game. And with the way 330 wants to approach this, he's making enemies, because he's saying, all right, y'all, I think the most equitable way to do this, let's just play a game. Let's just play a game. And they're like, no, boo, tomato, we don't want to do that. I'm thinking if you're someone like LeAnn or something, you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that with y'all. Like, y'all are more athletic. Y'all, what are we gonna do? A push-up contest, a pull-ups? Like, you're trying to beat me and stuff. Like, no, I don't want to do that. Let's just vote. Let's just vote and see what happens. But he has gotten on everybody's damn nerves, a lot of people's nerves, including Cheney and others, to where they're like, all right, we're good at making him go, even though he's the one trying to find an equitable way for everybody to survive this.
Okay. We mentioned when Lorenzo doesn't want the apples from LeAnn. I will say that cutting up the apples was a little random.
It was.
Like, oh, we found a bunch of apples, so we cut them up for everybody.
And I'm like, all right. But see, that's the thing. Either don't take the apple or take the apple. But just be like, LeAnn, bitch, don't come in here with that. It's like, all right. All right. Because look, he didn't say that, but also it was the energy. It was like, girl, get out, get the fuck, So like, if you don't go on from away from me with them apples, And so I think, yeah, it was a little suspect. Don't be coming over here with free apples for me. They ain't tell us nothing about no apples.
Chappell, there's another guy, and I believe he's 374, that he starts telling people he wants to go home.
I'm sorry. What a weird strategy.
Right? Do I have this right? Is it 374?
It is 374. So 374 has been projecting weakness. He's like, if I project weakness, people won't look at me like a 432, like a 200, where I think that was Monty's number, right?
Yeah.
Like one of those people who are standing out as clearly someone who we should be targeting. TJ at this point has eyes on him. Cheney has eyes on them. So the people who are standing out the most, they're the ones who people are like, all right, let's start getting at them. So 374 says, you know what? I'm not a target at all. In fact, I don't even want to be here.
If I tell people I want to go home, they won't send me home.
Right. Which is dumb, because people are just looking for a reason to not have to do something like crummy to somebody else. And so they look at 374 like, well, he said he wanted to go. Oh, what? Yeah. He did. I didn't hear him say it, but I heard that he said that.
Do you think he really did want to go home, and that he was just like, that's my strategy?
It could be both.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, once you survive 7 hours of red light, green light, you're kind of like, all right, if I gotta go, I gotta go. But also, hopefully this works. But if not, it is what it is.
Once they told him, like, we don't have any chapstick, but what we do have for you, Andy, he's like, all right, I'm ready.
He said, condoms? I'm going home. Yeah, this is the ghetto. This is the hood. I was not expecting this. I did not sign up for this.
Yeah. So he's the first person that he gets lit up. Okay. Then who comes next? And then does 330 also then get nominated?
No, I think 374 is the first one who gets nominated, because it's very easy. 445 got him, and nobody really wanted to put up a new name. And so then this is when LeAnn gets up there, and she's like, all right, I'm still kind of salty about Lorenzo and them apples. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and vote for Lorenzo, and y'all can do whatever y'all want. But what I thought was odd was that her and her son did not vote the same way. I think her son got 374, and then she goes and votes for 161. Ma'am, it's a popularity vote. Like, you do not want to be like a person who is receiving votes from people, and you ain't got your son. Like, your son needs to be voting with you so that you can put 2 people on that person. I was like, all right, whatever. But the one time they want to do something differently, it's the one time it could have benefited them. I mean, dear God, because being in the same battleship was so damn stupid, LeAnn. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Why would you be in the same battleship as your son? Aren't y'all trying to divvy up y'all's chances at winning the money? Am I dumb? Did I miss something?
It's a good point. I mean, it's going to come to a head by the end of this for sure.
Yeah, but like, damn, you know,
they're
like the
not
fact y'all
trying to
wanna-
maximize their odds. Okay.
Why not? You know, like, bro, like, okay, like, I'm just saying, you should be trying to maximize your odds. That's the point of having a loved one here. It's not so that y'all can do everything hand in hand like a family, because y'all gonna die together too. But they survived that, and in this moment, they do not vote together. She's the one who puts the vote on 161. And as you pointed out earlier, he makes a big production of walking over to her and be like, "I'm sorry, what is your number again?" Okay, just making sure. Just trying to make sure I was getting you and not your son. So
Yeah.
this is you I'm voting for, right?
302 or 302?
Right. He walks over to the button. He's like, 302. No, oops. Oh, it's the unanimous.
It's the
unanimous.
same.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't care. You going home. He was wrong.
Yeah.
She is not going home.
Okay. Cheney is going to make a big move here. And Cheney is going to be the person to she puts up Dr. V, correct?
Yeah, she puts up 330, and the crowd is like, oh, what? Girl, you serious? Are you crazy? That she wild, bro. Why did she do that? And she's like, yeah, I did it. I did it. And
Yeah.
what? And what about it? I'm serious. You ain't serious? Get into it. I was like, Cheney. But also, this is wild, girl. You putting a big ass target on your back. Stop. Like, chill out.
Yeah. And there was a target on her back, but it was calculated because it was the top 3 people are going to go home. So we do need 3 people. Okay. So there was enough of like a sentiment. Okay. 330 Dr. V is pissing people off. But then, you know, you had where Lorenzo then tries to like nominate LeAnn. Don't know how many people in Lorenzo's group are also going to nominate LeAnn. And then Dr. V ends up putting up Cheney as well. And so we get with 5 people potentially nominated. Now, I thought this was a wild move where I think it's 141 says, I'm gonna take a shot at Cheney here.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote secretly for Cheney, and then I'm gonna hope that other people vote for Cheney and take Cheney out of the game, so we don't have to deal with her no more, because it's very clear that she's in an alliance with TJ and one other, and I can't think of his name right now. He makes this move, and it's an interesting move because if you get away with it, it's fine. But if you go and tell everybody about it, then it's not fine. It's no longer anonymous. Anonymous or whatever, anonymous. And then you now are caught. You're caught. And people are going to run back and tell on you. And so, here we are. We see this will blow up in his face later on.
Yeah, well, Cheney calls him out. And it's like, hey, it looked like you voted for me. Did you vote for me? It's like, what? Are you crazy? No, I would not ever do that.
Are you kidding me? What? Me? Vote for you?
But it's like it seems like he would have gotten away with it, but then he told a bunch of other people, like, hey, everybody, Cheney's got an alliance. Vote for Cheney.
Well, the thing is, after you say, all right, I voted for Cheney, they didn't go home, cool. Let me start rallying votes against Cheney maybe in the future. He's like, hey, bro, isn't it crazy that Cheney's still around here? Like, that's how you do it. You got to have a subtle hand. You don't go immediately to people and be like, why didn't we vote out Cheney? I did. Oh, you did, huh? Okay, cool. And so, all this information will eventually get back to Cheney. And then we see that, results vary. Yeah.
Okay. So this information is going to get back to Cheney, but hold that thought. Okay. Because we've got another game coming along. Okay. This was like a series of tests that we were going to have. We're going to bring out the Jack in the Box.
Okay.
And we need 5 volunteers to play Jack in the Box.
Yeah. And this is a pivotal moment in the show as well, because we meet one of the volunteers here in this moment. And so we find out there's a person named Felicia. And Felicia is an emergent character. I believe she is teamed up with Ashley at some point. And the two of them are they've been peeping, right? They've been watching people. All right. Who is aligned? Who are the strong people? Who are the weak people? Whoop. And they kind of give you vibes of the 2 women that were in the Squid Game proper as well, because they're on the same page. They kind of understand the game the same. They're looking at each other. They're really bonding. And so they end up having a moment where, we can tell that they're working together and that people are going to have to start making some tough decisions soon, and they're going to be moving in lockstep moving forward. Because because there's a way to even the game, right? Like you can get rid of the Gangbu gang people. You can break up the mom and son. There are other alliances that are very tight. And Felicia is one of the first people who calls that out. And she's going to be in a very big role here in this 5-person jack-o'-lantern game, or sorry, jack-in-the-box game.
Jack-in-the-box. Yeah, they did this really well, because we don't know Felicia from anything, and then we get her whole backstory, and you're very invested, and it's like, oh wow, well, I can't wait to root for her. She's gonna be wow, she'll be a new fan favorite for us to root for, and she's about to make some really cutthroat moves.
Yeah. Jesse was the only person who Chaney was aligned with, and TJ. So, but yeah, Felicia, we get enough backstory about 229 to where we're like, all right, we're invested in this, and we know her and Ashley cool, and they a tight duo. And so she goes and like, I'm gonna volunteer myself for one of these jack-in-the-box roles, because I would much rather be the person making the decision than being at the mercy of somebody making these decisions. But we know that they put 6 jack-in-the-boxes up there. There's 5 people. They can pick whichever 5 they want to stand behind or whatever. And then by twisting the little pop goes the weasel, knob, one of them could be potentially safe. They could get sent home. They could have an advantage, whatever case may be. And so each of them has a turn where they turn the little jack in the box, and we have to wait and find out in a very suspenseful way. Who is going to get what type of punishment?
Horrible and wonderful.
It was great. It was really great. Yeah. So Jesse, I believe, is the first to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he says, like, all right, I have to pick 2 players to eliminate. And he like, I'm going to pick one of the people who I haven't spoken to at all.
This was wild.
We're like, who is that? They're like, Amber. I was like, okay, do we know Amber? Have we seen Amber? We didn't get no Amber content.
Well, it was like, I'm going to pick the one person who hasn't talked to me here. And that's going to be 026. And it's like, she didn't talk to us either. We don't know her.
We literally don't know who that is. She's a plant. So take her out. Cool. So then his next move is, I'm going to take out the person who has been stirring up the most drama, manipulating people, fostering lies, playing a sloppy game here. I'm going to eliminate 141. And people kind of look at me like, well, who is 141? They're like, oh, okay. All right. We got action. And I think that's when the game starts to get real for a lot of these people.
Yeah. 141. I think that's Dash. He then outs an alliance. Yeah.
On the way out, he's like, well, everybody know Chaney and TJ and Jesse, y'all all working together. It's a well, I think it was a 4th person too, but it's like a 4-person alliance who's running the game. Peace out. Kisses everybody goodbye, and then he's gone. And so yeah, I think first of all, 4-person alliance in Squid Game, it's like, doesn't feel like that strong of an alliance. But when you have, I guess, people just pairing up for whatever arbitrary reason, they like each other, they know each other, and then knowing that their alliance could be gone the very next episode, I think that, you have to cling to the alliances that you do have, because again, there's no world where Jesse is going to target TJ or Chaney in this moment, and so because it got back to that crew that you were targeting their alliance, they were the ones who were deciding to take him out at this point.
Okay. The next person that goes is a guy named Joel. And Joel, apparently he's a K-pop idol. And he does the Jack in the Box and he gets eliminated.
Oof.
Sorry, Joel.
Yeah, he's an ex-K-pop idol. What? Joel Squid Game? Let me see where he was. What group he was in.
He loves playing basketball and collecting ancient coins.
Yeah. I mean, sounds like fun. This K-pop idol. Oh, BTL. Okay, cool. Who knew? Yeah. Joel, I'm sure the K-pop stans are out there crying and weeping and throwing up because they go up for their pop groups. But yeah, Joel was removed. It was very unceremonious. I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yep. Okay. All right. Then 87, I think, is the next person to go.
Yeah, so 87 has to open the box and he has to pick a player to eliminate. And this is when we find out that there are other alliances like the Corner who've just been hanging out in the corner this entire time, who are very much, I guess, a threat in the show. But for us, we hadn't seen them, and so they're worried about their position. But instead of targeting the Corner, he wants to target somebody who is a threat to his alliance, and he targets 176.
Yeah. This is when I realized that a Squid Game, I think, is a lot like jail, of like there's just like a lot of different factions that are hanging out.
Oh, you think it's like race wars?
I don't know. But it did seem like that this is these guys had a similar vibe.
Yeah, and I don't think it was 176 who he took out. I don't remember who it was that he took out. I think he took out Darius. I think he was the one who got Darius.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was the one who got Darius. But yeah, he took him out. And I was like, okay, again, I think that was the other person in the 4-person alliance. So it actually was a shot to Chaney's alliance at some point, which I think, if it's very obvious that they're aligned, somebody has to take the shot eventually. It just didn't work out for him.
I just hope Darius got a chocolate muffin.
He seemed like he really wanted one,
Yeah. They said that he loves swimming and he's the most excited to sleep in bunk beds.
Oh, sleeping in bunk beds is cool.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never slept in a 5-person bunk bed.
Was it 5 up?
I think it was 5 up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Darius, we lose Darius here.
We lose Darius. Okay. And then 278 gets to then pick. This is a lot of numbers are going on at this point. Okay.
No, okay.
All right. So is this where then somebody gets the advantage?
So yes. So
270.
278 is Ashley, and she's sitting outside watching 229 up there sweating. I mean, we all are. We're all watching Felicia because we don't know what is about to happen with her, and she is visibly stressed. I'm talking about the woman's up there shaking, she crying, throwing up all that kind of stuff. Like, bro, we're in it though. We are all rooting for her. I'm sorry, we just were. And so yeah, what was it? 130.
130. Okay, this guy, Jacobin. We don't know a lot about him, but he goes and he gets an advantage. An advantage in the next. I don't know what that advantage was going to be in that next game. Based off of we'll never know. He gets an advantage. He's a truck driver. He's driven through all 50 states.
The moment he opened his mouth, I said Mississippi. Because this was the most southern person who was on this show. I said, oh my God. What truck stop did they pluck him from? And I was not wrong. I did not know about his bio. I did not know which state he was from, but everything about him said truck driver from Mississippi. And so, he gets his advantage, and he kind of like, hey, yeah, I'm good. Like, what's going down? Let's see what the next game is. But the smile is wiped from his face instantly, and I was like, yeah, now this is cinema again. We love this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so here we go. Back to 278 for the biggest moment of the series.
Oh, okay. So Ashley is still watching from the crowd. She's like, all right, 229 is up there. What is she gonna do? We're like connected. We're studying the bond between these two women as it happens. And 229 is like, bruh, I gotta turn this Jack in the Box at the slowest possible pace. I gotta just like as slow as possible. And when it opens, her reaction, it wasn't euphoria. It was more like relief. Like, oh God, but now what do I do? And 229, her Jack in the Box says that she gets to eliminate 3 players from the game. And you kind of could see the game face just develop on her. Like, she went from somebody who was very distraught to like, now we got action. It's time. And so she has to go out and make her moves. And yeah, 229, man, she's crazy. She's like, all right, I got something for y'all. And she starts off with 243. And I was like, dang, like she out the gate. Said, nah, you can go. And then she's like, okay, we're going to take out 243. We're going to take out Papa Rick.
Why'd you have to take both of them? Like, I get it. Like, I take out Steven. Why'd you have to take out Rick also?
She had to take out the heart of the game. Look, she's seen the show. This old man could not make it to marbles, damn it. So, yeah, she takes him out. She takes them both out. She says, Steven, Rick, y'all got to go because y'all are the leaders of the Gangbu gang. And I love it because they're like, what did we do to get here? Oh, my God. Like, did people think we're an alliance or something? Y'all are walking around chanting Gangbu gang, putting your hands in. Like, yeah, y'all were going to get targeted eventually.
In hindsight, that was a mistake.
You think so? You think naming yourself, talking about getting matching tattoos and stuff like that doesn't put a target on your back in a game like this? And this is why I said there was no hope for 243. Because there's no way 243 is surviving all these eliminations. Like, he's getting voted out when they have the little keypad. If not, somebody's taking him out with the jackal-lit.
243 or 432?
No, 432. I'm sorry. Yeah, 432. Brighton's not making it past this. I'm sorry. Yes. He could have done whatever he wanted in the game. This is the end of the road for him. So it makes it a lot better for me as a viewer knowing that sometimes it's just stuff you couldn't do. And so, yeah, Rick and Steven are gone, and the Gangbu gang has been gutted. And then on her way out, she takes out the guy with the advantage, Mississippi himself.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do we need that guy having an advantage? Get out.
They said it was a boss bitch move.
No one lied. She was right. She did what needed to be done. I'm sorry. The move was amazing. It was what you were supposed to do. Why would you not take out the old man if we all think he's behind this all in the first place? And then, Steven is the center of the Gangbu gang. He's keeping the old man roped in, but everybody seems to be working with him. He seems very likable as well. Take him out. And then advantage guy, sir, you just got an advantage. I mean, here's a target. Hold on to it because I'm about to shoot at it. And that's how he went home. All is fair in Squid Game.
Big boss move. Geneva says that 229 has been getting hate and death threats on social media. She doesn't deserve it. Like, listen, if you are getting this worked up over watching the Squid Game, touch grass, okay?
Go outside, put your feet on the grass, into the soil, move your toes, just get really grounded in the earth.
Get a grip.
Get a grip. Look, you're sending death threats. 229, wherever you are, we get them. It happens to us too. Join the club.
I mean, I like the old man too, but it was fine.
He's fine. He got 18 grandkids. He don't need y'all sending him death threats. That's probably who's sending the death threats. Yeah. Probably on the damn kids.
Yeah. The bees care about him. He doesn't need all you bees on social media.
Right. All you little bees.
Buzzing.
Little bee hat. Yeah. Buzzing all over the place. Yeah.
It's fine.
She did what needed to be
fine.
done.
Steven is fine.
What about the chocolate?
Yeah.
No, seriously. Is there chocolate? Is it chocolate or not? Is it like a secret advantage that he got that'll give him immunity? Maybe we show up after the marble game and he's still there. Who knows?
You think that the chocolate could have given him immunity from this? We see like a flashback later.
Yeah, later on he shows up and they're like, "What happened?" He's like, "It wasn't chocolate at all."
Yeah,
and he pulls out the golden ticket like Willy Wonka.
Yeah. Okay. After this is over, now we need 5 more players for a chore, and the chore is make orange juice. Okay, fine. So a bunch of people go and make the orange juice. Jada, she's in the group of 5 that's making the orange juice. They fill up the jugs. There's some question of like, there was bubbles. I don't know if we got it. Okay, they got it. All right. They win a picnic for everybody. We're down to 63 people. So everybody come up and get your picnic basket. Grab a buddy for picnic. Chappell. All these people watched the Squid Game movie, right? They watched the show.
They saw the movie, yes.
How do 63 people who are Squid Game experts fall for pick a buddy for a picnic?
So, Rob, when they said pick a buddy for a picnic, you were like, no, this is the moment. This is the marbles. Or are you watching it and then you saw that it was the marbles and were like, well, duh, of course it was the marbles. Did you know? Or are you just acting like you would have known?
When they said pick a buddy for this, You had to know, right?
Did you know, Rob? I'm saying, as someone who hasn't watched Squid Game in over a year, did you know that they were about to whip the marbles out on them?
So it's hard because that Twitter has no chill. So I think I kind of like intuited that there was going to be the mother and the son matched up in marbles. So, but it also seemed very obvious.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I wasn't thinking along those lines because all the challenges we've seen thus far have been very much pick your team. Pick your team, pick your team, pick your team, pick your team. And even this, they disguised as we have a surprise for you all. If you win this test about the orange juice, we're going to give you a treat. They were painting this as this was a good thing, and the picnic probably is a good thing in a vacuum if you don't lift up in the hatch and find the secret marbles below. My mind, I will honestly say, my mind was not thinking about the marble game. I've forgotten about it. It's been a long ass time since I watched Squid Game. But some of these people, I'm assuming, get prepped for the show, right? So they probably rewatched the show. So they should have known. So do I think that all 65 of them were duped? Probably not. I'm pretty sure a few of them were like, all right, maybe, just maybe, we're fine. But that's not good TV. You got to get the people who were duped to be the ones that are on camera, the ones who just completely didn't see it coming. I also think that it's a lot of people at home being like, how did you not know? Again, I know y'all. I know y'all in real life. Stop it. Y'all didn't know either.
And maybe a lot of people did know, and that they just didn't show those people.
Right, exactly. Why would you show the person like
you still have to pick a buddy?
I knew it. Yeah, LeAnn and Trey. LeAnn and Trey, y'all are the biggest culprits here. Like, y'all have no business. Mom and son have no business going up against each other in this challenge. There's no world where this should have happened. You should have. This should have been your only thing that you go in knowing is that no matter what, we do not need to be. You could make sense for y'all being on the same tug of war team, right? Like, it's like, okay, sure, you're my mom, but I'm gonna make sure that we're on a good team. I'm gonna be the anchor. Like, I got you, mom. That kind of thing. But there's no world where the one thing you didn't prep for is we never need to be in a pair. And yet here we are.
Okay. And it was a good reveal when they start like going through their basket, like, we got this, and they find the marbles, and you had people who were like visibly upset. Favor is a guy who is crying.
Yeah. I like LeAnn and Trey in this moment too, because they had just been like, were people trying to break us up as an alliance? Have people been coming for my mom? Like, what are you thinking here? And they ultimately are the ones who break themselves up. Felicia and Ashley, a duo that I was falling in love with, and now I'm like, bro, what the hell? Why are y'all teamed up? When she finds the marbles and she goes, put that shit back, close it up. Maybe we can get away with it. We don't notice. But yeah, there's the one guy who doesn't have a team at all, right? Is he 222?
I don't know what they're going to do with that guy. He's like, well, it's an odd number. So I think that guy's going to, you think that guy's going to go to Exile Island?
No, I think he should be immune.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he should be immune.
This guy. Robert, be serious. You did not know this was coming. I saw the real Squid Game.
Zachary, he was spoiled.
I like that I call the one that actually was fake, the real one, but.
Yeah, you saw the real Squid Game, which was actually like a television show that was predicted. And this is like actual people playing Squid Game. Right, whatever. Rob said he knew. We believe him, Yeah,
I mean, the marbles, it was at the same point in this.
I mean, when tug of war was gone, maybe the marble game was gonna be gone. You don't know.
I guess so, but when they like the one thing I'd say, like, when they tell you to pick a pair and then you go against the person that you're in a pair with, like, that's what they do,
right? And even let's say Trey and LeAnn did know, right? Trey is not going to allow somebody to go pick on his mom. Like, hey, old lady, let me come holler at you. Like, no, get away from my mom. Yeah. I guess if anybody's gonna take her out of this game, it's gonna be me.
Yeah. Boy, this chat is so shady today. I'm gonna, you know what? No more chat. Shut the chat down.
Shut the chat down. Shut it down.
No chat on the live show anymore.
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
That's it.
Yeah. 222 said he didn't have any marbles in his, so. Maybe he gets a pass.
Yeah. All right. And then we come get a cliffhanger. Next week, we're going to get 5 more episodes of Squid Game. And then there'll be one more week and we get the finale.
Which is wild because after this, essentially, we have 70 some odd people left. And we're going to basically just divide everybody in half, right? Like, because everyone's paired up. Yeah. So we're gonna have roughly 30 people and 4 more episodes left after this. This is silly. I don't know what you do for 4 episodes with 30 people left.
maybe they won't be as long. And so, yeah, it's 4 more episodes, not 5. I think we're gonna still do the glass, like walk across like the bridge game.
I only want it if they can actually fall.
They're gonna fall.
Like, they don't have to die.
Yeah.
They don't have to die, but they have to fall. That's the whole
I gotta go
point.
back and see what Mr. Beast did for that.
Oh yeah, I've never seen Mr. Beast.
Mhm.
I don't know what he does, so I don't know if it was just like maybe like it was just suspended off the ground. Maybe somebody had a bungee cord. But
Mhm.
falling like that doesn't feel safe. But I feel like they have to do it. So
Yeah.
you got to fall.
Okay. So we'll see what they ended up doing. So it's 63, so they'll be down to what, like 31 after this, depending if they let that other guy go. So
Yeah.
let's see what they do with that one. It looks like there's also like they have one that's like a skill crane type
Oh
thing.
yeah, the claw,
That looks like, yeah, the
the
claw.
claw.
Yeah, that
Beware the
looks like a new
claw.
one. Yeah. Mike in the chat said Mr. Beast had trapdoors falling into a foam pit.
I like a foam pit, but it also kind of takes away from a little bit, like, okay, maybe you can kill him. Maybe just this
Mhm.
time. Maybe don't
Yeah.
kill him, but just let them fall and see where the chips lie.
Okay. All right. Chappelle, anything else you want to talk about from week 1 of Squid Game?
Rob, that was great.
It was
I feel like
super fun.
I was pleasantly surprised at the show, but I do think that they did a lot of things to maximize their opportunities to have a good show. For one, I mean, the show is heavily produced, right? There's not a lot left to chance. It's like, okay, you're gonna do this thing, and we're gonna make sure it's the outcome that we want, basically, and we're gonna make sure it happens. They give so many people content, but again, you know how far people are gonna go. You have so many different options and stories to tell, so I think that works for them as well. I think the editors are the real heroes here because
It was really
you
well
know
done.
you have to be able to tell these people stories, and you need to cast people who can tell their own story. The backstories of what make these people compelling, and it was fun to watch. Rob, were you like pleasantly surprised at this, or like what were
Yes.
your expectations going in?
My expectations were low. I didn't think it would be that good. I thought it was really well done. And I understand that there were a lot of issues with the production. I mean, that I think that like good luck wrangling 456 people who are trying to be in a reality TV show. These shows have hard enough times with a cast of like 18 and 20 people, so it must have been just a logistical nightmare to try to produce this. So I think it's no surprise that there were a lot of issues with getting this made, but ultimately in terms of a finished product, like I thought this came across really well.
Yep, it was great. It felt almost like it wasn't reality TV. It almost felt scripted, and I'm not saying that it felt like these people were fake. I just think that it was produced so heavily that it felt like you're watching Squid Game, the show.
Yeah.
You might not if you have a rootable interest, anybody can go, and it doesn't feel like I said, and I think like in the challenge and Survivor and stuff, you're getting very much these people's firsthand accounts of the world around them, whereas we don't really get a lot of that in Squid Game. We more get I don't really like this person. I'm not really vibing with this person. And we get their backstories. That's about it. So it's not a lot about the strategy of the game moving forward. We see them all react to that in real time. So it feels a little bit more like a whole project as opposed to a reality show that's done in pieces.
Yeah.
I am very confused about how they're going to continue though.
Yeah. I really like with more seasons.
Well, no, I just mean with this current season. Like
Okay.
they spent so much capital on these first storylines that I feel like you have to roll in a new list of characters starting in episode 6.
Well, I think that there might be some people that we really haven't seen yet that will start to maybe like everybody else that like survives the marble games. We might get to really know everybody like in the final 30. If we don't, like, I think that there's probably time built in to get to know all of the people that are making it towards the end. Because I think that every death from here on out is going to start to be impactful.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think even they did really good with the deaths of the people that we really didn't know that well. So now that we've had several episodes with some of them, I think that yeah, they're all going to be impactful. When Brad goes, if Brad goes, then we're going to be sad about that. Cheney, Jada, I'm going to be devastated. Don't call me, don't text. I'm going to be crying. But like a lot of them, and we're going to lose a lot of them in the marble challenge. So I think next episode is going to be a bloodbath, and then from there we'll just have to try to salvage whatever connection we have with the characters that are left.
Okay. All right. This was super fun. The chat was super fun, except for the people that called me a liar. And so I thought
didn't call
that
you a liar per se.
this was just like really great energy. Hopefully, we didn't get too many numbers and names wrong. And there's 456 people in the cast. So please have some grace with us, as we really did enjoy getting to talk about this. And this was, a really great turnout for the live show. We had more people watching than people who were playing Squid Game.
Yeah, which is good because that bodes well for a season 2, maybe.
Yeah. So really fun stuff. All right, Chappell. Now we're going to be back on Friday to talk about part 2. We waited a little long. I was traveling. It was Thanksgiving, but we will get on it for Friday. I think that Wednesday is when the new batch of episodes drop. So we'll give you a couple of days, and then we will be live on Friday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to talk about week 2 of Squid Game. Okay, how about that?
Don't binge the show on Wednesday. Don't binge the show on Wednesday and then get on Twitter and spoil it for everybody. Don't be a hater. Let people live. Let people enjoy stuff. We're not going to be haters. We're going to give people time to enjoy it. And then on Friday, we're going to come back and we're going to spoil everything live for everybody who is left. And then we'll prep for the finale. I think we got 2 more episodes after that because it's 4 episodes total, right? And so it's like, what
I think it's 4 next week and then 1 for the finale.
Wow. So anyway, I would love to see what's coming from this. What you gonna do with these 35 people that we're gonna have at the next episode? Who knows?
Okay. All right. Now, every day, Chappell and I are covering an episode of Suits over on Suits Yourself, the Nothing But Netflix spinoff podcast. We are closing in on episode 100 of Suits Yourself. So be sure to check that out every day at suitspodcast.com. Chappell, what else is coming up for you?
More Below Deck with Sasha live on YouTube on Wednesdays, and so you'll see me live on Wednesday. But I will be talking about Below Deck Med with my captain Sasha Joseph, who has been in the chat, revealing all her villainous ways and how she would be a horrible person on Squid Game, but she'd be great TV. So catch up with us there. Jenny and I are still talking about House of Villains on the Hit or Quit It feed, and then Mari and I are talking about the black shows on post show recaps. We're doing Rap Shit season 2, and we're about to start doing some movie content too, so check that out and more. And then follow me on Twitter at Chappells_show to keep up with everything else we got going on, and follow at Nothing But RHAP, the Nothing But Netflix Twitter account, where we tweet out what's coming and let us know what else you want us to talk about, because we've already rolled out a bunch of our one of our holiday movies, and we probably have more holiday stuff to come soon. So check us out there, and again, follow me on Twitter at Chappells_show.
Maximus Bomb said, I got to listen to your Netflix Christmas movie. So good, unlike the actual movie. Yeah, best Christmas ever. We did a recap on the Nothing But Netflix podcast feed. Of course, if you want to subscribe to the podcast version of Nothing But Netflix, you can go to robiswebsite.com/Netflix feed. And then we will be back later on tonight for some more Survivor. I got to speak with the latest person voted off of Survivor this morning. That podcast should be in your podcast feed. And then Christian Hubicki is going to join me live at 7 p.m. Eastern to talk about your feedback from episode 9 of Survivor 45. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.